Hey guys, Shawn Ziem, the Connection Machine, aka the Insurance Doctor. This is live at number 67 for the Webtalk Legends Podcast, and it's all about having our guests share their story, trials and tribulations, things that they have happened in their past. And while they're doing that, you're taking notes. If you want to take some notes, take some jots down on your phone, take some mental notes, and then actually implement some of the ideas, strategies, tips that we are discussing. And if it's working for you as well, come back to this video and drop a comment. A couple housekeeping things for those that are watching live. Don't forget, hashtag live for those that are just nervous and they don't like to engage too much. If you are one that engages and likes to help other people, that's what we're here for. Please drop a comment where you're watching from. From time to time, engage what we're talking about. If I ask a question, you want to answer it. You have questions, drop those in the comments as well. And if you have a favorite emoji, thumbs up, pound, fire, bomb, what have you, drop it in the comments so that we can help the algorithm in the YouTube channel. Don't forget, as always, check out all the items in the description so that you can benefit and you can help the guest out as well. Connect with them on Webtalk and all the other platforms they're on. And don't hesitate. And please, please, please subscribe to this channel and then share this live out. Let me bring on a great friend of mine, Frank Barber. What's going on, man?
Hey, how are you, man? It's been a while.
How are you?
I'm good. It
has been a while, and I appreciate you taking some time out. It's gonna be it's gonna be a good time, man. I definitely think that doing these, providing value, sharing stories helps others. And before we even get into it, Frank, who are you and what do you do?
Well, basically, I am by trade. I'm a teacher. So I teach middle school computers. So that's kind of what I do as my full-time gig, I guess you'd say. But in reality, I'm a entrepreneur. I grew up in a pretty normal household. Mom and dad were together. My dad was a hard blue collar worker. Worked his butt off. Mom, stay at home mom. Back then, you were able to do that. And, grew up with good parents. They provided for me. I had two brothers and a sister. And I always thought growing up, like, man, I see how hard my dad works. I want to try and, I don't want to work that hard. And I want to be able to make money. You see all these like rich people. And you're like, man, what do they do? And so I always knew that I wanted to get involved in being an entrepreneur in business. And once I got into high school, I started thinking about businesses. And even early on in high school, I would try and do certain things to make side cash. My parents were always like, man, you're always doing something, hustling. I worked through high school. And then once I got out of high school and got into college, I really thought about opening my first business. And right out of college, I opened up a tanning salon, owned that for about 4 years, sold that. I mean, I was in my early 20s making great money. I mean, this isn't bragging, but I was like 21, 22 years old, and I was bringing in $100,000 a year back in, I graduated college in 2000. So that was
right.
That was good money. I had a BMW. I was like, wow, this is really working. But then the tanning salon industry took kind of a hit because skin cancer and the whole bad publicity. And I kind of went downhill pretty fast. And so I sold that. And then for years, I kind of dabbled around on what am I going to do? What other business should I start while I was teaching? And then I met a very close friend of ours. We both know Carmelo Oliveri, and he said, hey, why don't you go get your mortgage license? So I wound up getting a mortgage license. And me and him started working together because he had a real estate license and he was also a teacher. And then we started partnering and doing real estate. And I, as you know, I started investing in multifamily properties, doing flips. Also wound up getting into my own contracting business. And now I'm even getting into, we were talking earlier, I'm getting into cannabis manufacturing business, which is as everybody knows, it just became not too long ago legal for recreational use, and it's going to probably be New Jersey's going to wind up putting it increasing the revenue on that. Last year, I think it was at like 500 million, and they're saying it's going to reach close to like $1 billion by this year in New Jersey. So that I have my hand in that too. So that's really what I do. I'm an entrepreneur. I try and get my hand in everything that I think is going to be successful, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But
man, a lot to unpack, a lot of things we can definitely talk in the next 30 minutes.
yeah,
I want to go back, and I love that word hustle, side hustle for one, but hustle. How important is that? What does it mean to you? I mean, you have kids, you're a father, and that's something that I really it hits home for me as far as hustling. What about you?
well, what I think of when I think of hustle is basically when you take the time to focus on your business or invest in yourself, as I like to call it. You want to maximize that time because, as you know, we have kids. It's tough, and hustling means to me working hard, and those little windows that you have to do that, and you maximize your time. Maybe. And a lot of times I'll do my planning while I'm laying in bed in my head, and I'll take my phone. I'll
Mm-hmm.
take my phone and I'll put, okay, little notes about this is a good idea or that's a good idea. I got to try this. I got to do that. And then the next day, if I have a little time, I don't have to waste the time thinking. I just go right to it. And so that's kind of what hustle means to me: to work hard, surround myself with other entrepreneurs like yourself and Carmelo and other successful people, because you become basically who you hang out with usually.
That's so true. And I'm not driving the car like Carmelo is, but but
Neither am I.
it takes the time. You have to be consistent over time. But I agree with you. The hustle and using your time wisely. So if you have some time, a lot of people might play video games or things on their phone. They might kill time. If I'm on social media, I'm on there, basically networking or growing my business, or I like to set up appointments for people to call me. And
Yeah,
people are
yeah.
like, how do you do that? I'm like, that's what you use social media for. It's not just to rah who you are. You want to set appointments up so you can continue growing your business.
Absolutely. And that's kind of like that's what I do. I'm always on my phone. I'm always looking on my phone. And sometimes my wife gets upset, hey, put the phone away. But that's what makes me money, I guess you'd say, because using my phone to communicate with people, connect with people, Facebook, going live, things like that. Like, I'm always getting texts and comments on, like I said, social media. So that's how you connect with people. Real estate deals coming in, new business opportunities, my attorney reaching out to me, all those things. But
Now, with those that are watching, we have a lot of people in network marketing. We have entrepreneurs. We have affiliate marketers. How do you kind of control your day? You have a lot of things going on. Is there any strategies, any tips, any apps you might use to streamline your day, your calls, what have you?
I control basically I
Because you're
control my
juggling a lot. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, my phone, everything goes through this. My calendar is set up, my Google Calendar. I put things into that. If I have an appointment with you, I'll put it in here. I set up my reminders. Because you got a lot on your mind. You can't be always thinking about that. So you have to like use these tools to help make your day move along better,
right.
and I think by doing that and being prepared on a daily basis and planning ahead of time. Planning is a big part of being successful and being organized. If you're just all over the place, chances are you probably won't be successful. And I put aside time for my contracting business. I put aside time for my real estate business. I put aside time for my teaching, and then I put aside time to develop business too. So, and I try to, I don't want to be like overwhelmed by it. So I put small segments of time and then focus on that and then move away, go to something else, because sometimes you get overwhelmed and you're like, man, this is,
Yeah,
too much.
yeah, I totally agree. You got to make sure well, put a little compartmentalize different things. Make sure you have some time on this, time on that. I'm a teacher as well. I make sure I get that done, and if I have some downtime, I can work on my other businesses so that we can always be, growing. So it's I like Calendly. A lot of people say, well, how do you set that up? I'm like, if someone texts me, but like I don't answer the phone most of the time.
Yeah.
Unless I know if you're on my phone, which you are, I answer the phone. If not, it goes right to a voicemail. And
Yeah.
in there, it directs people to go to Calendly so they can set up an appointment with me. And it's on the times that I want to make calls. So it's all strategy to help my day go
Yeah.
smooth as possible. So no, for sure, I definitely agree. And it's important that you take time out for your family. How about for those dads out there? Because I know you're an active dad. What
Yeah.
are some tips for those dads out there to help them with juggling business and being a dad?
Well, it's funny you say that. Like, my daughter plays softball, and there's days where you have to be able to me, family always comes first, because without that support system, your wife, your kids, your family, chances are, again, I mean, you could be successful, but success needs balance as well. And I think along with success and being an entrepreneur, family, you need family as well. And if one goes one way or the other, you're either going to wind up, maybe you'll be really, really rich in one
Right.
aspect, but very poor in your family life. And, your kids may resent you, or your wife may resent you. Who knows what can happen? So I try to, again, compartmentalize. When I focus on my family, I have to try and focus on my family. I know a lot of times it's hard, and I actually meditate a lot to try and I'll go in my basement, shut all the lights, and try and focus and think, like, calm down. And I think that helps, having your anxiety levels lowered, because when you have a lot on your plate, it can be anxious, especially things that you're unsure about. Maybe it's a new business venture. If you calm down and clear your head, um, you can kind of put things into perspective and go, when it comes to family, and get that balance, like Mr. Miyagi,
Yeah.
balance. And it's true. Like, if you don't have balance in your life, you're going to be miserable, and you'll either be a miserable business owner or a miserable family man. So, that's where I think that's important, and family always comes first.
I agree. I like how you meditate. Those that are watching in Webtalk Legends, our YouTube channel, we have some good affirmations. We have good meditations. We have good things you can listen to while you're meditating. So if you're watching, if you are interested in that type of stuff, definitely check that out, because you have to have a clear mind, and it helps you with your mental health.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about physical health. It's the mental health that really we have to really focus on the long haul, especially guys. We don't talk about things a lot. We try to
Yeah.
hold things in, and it's important to actually talk about and sharing some of the trials and tribulations that we go through on an everyday, with our family, with our friends, just so we get that stuff off our chest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think also, with part of meditation, I try and visualize where I want to be, whether it's in business, almost like a vision board. But and I do use vision boards too. Like, I'll write things on my refrigerator and stick it on my refrigerator or in my room. And when I wake up every day, that's what I look at. Like, you're going to meet this goal, this goal. And then when I meditate, I focus on those goals, and just kind of, I don't know if you have or you haven't, but I'm a big fan of The Secret, like reading the book
Mm-hmm.
and putting things out into the universe.
Like
And
you're manifesting. Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, man. I know a lot of people don't believe in it, but for me, when I put it out there, it almost gives me the drive. Like, I'm going to achieve it one way or another, somehow, some way. It's going to happen, whether it be through networking, right place, right time. I don't know, but it does happen. And I think people should read that. It's a good inspirational book. Um, and it really helps.
No, I definitely agree. You put things out into the world, you're focused on it, it's going to happen because you're putting all the energy going toward whatever that object or whatever you're looking to
Yeah.
do. It's there.
Yeah.
And you're with family. How about let's go down sports. I know you're a football guy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like, growing up, were you into football or are you into all sports? How were you in high school and when you were younger?
I have to say, growing up, yes, I was big into sports. My father was born and raised out in Western Pennsylvania, so Pittsburgh Steelers, they're like part of the family. So like Sunday dinner, it's Sunday dinner and it's Steeler football, and that's it. And it's like a way of life. Like so, that was my big thing. I did play sports, football growing up. Into high school, I started to kind of veer away from sports again, most likely because I had this vision of I wanted to be successful and get in the grind and I was focusing on like more working out, but also dibble and dabbling in, you see those infomercials at night, sell protein powders to it's going to make you, and I would buy into these things and think that I was going to be the next, big website guy with the and I always was trying different things until eventually I realized the guy that was making all the money was the guy who was putting it out there and not me.
Yeah, all
So,
the courses that people put out there. Oh,
yeah,
buy this,
yeah.
buy that. The ones that are selling the courses are the ones making the money, not the ones going
Yeah.
through it. Because the most people, they don't take action, right?
No.
That's a big thing. Implementing what you're learning. A lot of people, you've mentioned a couple things like reading. You talk about working out. You talk about networking. These are all things people have to start doing, and when they do it often enough, things happen. But if you're not implementing, you're not going to see any fruits of your labor.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely true. And again, you hope that, and the big thing is never give up. That's another thing. Like you can never give up. I flipped houses and lost money, but I flipped houses and made money. So like if I would have gave up after the first one, I would have lost money. But you don't. You give up. You learn from your mistakes. If you don't give up, you learn from your mistakes. Mistakes are good. People think, oh, they made a mistake, and listen, does it suck losing money? Yeah, it does, but it's a learning. When you lose money and it touches your pocket, you're like, man, what did I do wrong here? I don't want that to happen again.
Right.
And you change things real quick when the money starts being lost, and it teaches you a lesson. So making money teaches you a lesson, and losing money teaches you a lesson. So don't be hard on yourself. That's what I have to say. If you lose a little bit of money here and there, don't worry about it. Look at why you lost it and try and improve on those areas.
No, that goes with sports. You win, and a lot of people say, "Oh, you're losing." No, you learn every single time. And like you said, you're reflecting what happened during this game, what happened during this situation, what happened, why did I lose money? Learn from what happened so it doesn't happen over and over again. Then you turn into an idiot if you keep having that happening to you because you're not really reflecting and taking some time out to actually learn something from the situation.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And that goes back to getting and finding a mentor, somebody that has gone through and has lost, has, failed. And you learn from those mentors because it's less learning, less loss for you because you're going through whatever they've gone through because they're teaching you.
And I have to say, I got to give him credit. Carmelo Oliveri, some of you may know him, may not. I mean, he was a mentor to me from the beginning. I owe a lot of my success to him. Don't get me wrong, I put in the hard work too, but he made mistakes in his business ventures and real estate. And once I started learning from him, he would be like, whoa, you don't want to do that. I've done that before, and it's good to have some. And I mentor people myself now. And try and tell them, oh, you don't want to do that. Like I have a bunch of friends, they're always like, oh, I should buy this house and I should buy that house. And I'm like, well, no, did you do this? Did you make sure this? Did you do your due diligence? And then once I really lay it out for them, they're like, wow, it's not that easy finding these great deals and it's not, it's got to be the ideal situation. You want to set yourself up a calculated risk. Basically, you want to set yourself up for your best chance of success. And that's what Mel always told me, you're taking calculated risk, not just blind risk, like, hey, I'm going to start although they're very successful, like I'm going to start a Dunkin' Donuts and I'm going to make millions, you know nothing about it. And it's just, you're shooting from the hip at that point. But you know what I mean? It's different when you have somebody next to you that's done it to tell you, whoa, don't do that. Pull your back.
Hmm. So this must be why you opened up your contracting business. Probably you had lots of losses, lots of learning happening. People are not doing their job. So then you now open up a business so that you know things are going to get done right while you go forward into the future.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did. Again, I'm following basically in Mel's footsteps. Mel did that, and then I was like, and that's what I'm saying. Mel is a good mentor because he never said, when I asked him about me opening up my own contracting business, he didn't look at me as competition. He looked at me as like, yeah, definitely, man, do it. Like this is what you got to do, and make sure you do this and do that, and um, always very supportive of me, and that's what you need as a mentor. As a mentor, you want to see somebody get even more successful than you are. And that's how Mel is. He's very, and that's what I did. I started a contracting business to follow in kind of his footsteps, and I had more control over what work was being done. And don't get me wrong, you still have your hiccups with
Oh
that,
yeah. Yep.
because you got to rely on guys being reliable, and sometimes mistakes happen there, and you got to correct them, and it may cost you a little bit of more money, and you got to say to the guy, well, listen, you weren't supposed to take those lights out. You did, so now I got to buy new lights because you threw them out, and we got to replace it. It's just like things like that happen. I mean, not major things, but there are sometimes little things where you're like, man, come on, but it's all part of the process, and you learn from those mistakes too.
And we're in the world now, you have to have multiple funnels of income coming in. It's not just, you're a teacher, but you're an investor. You have businesses, you're opening up a cannabis thing down the road. These are all things that people have to start understanding, but it takes work. It's not
Yeah.
everyone's looking for a passive income, passive this, passive. You have to have even if we go continue with Mel, the guy has, I don't even know how many doors he has, but
Yeah.
what a problem to have is collecting rent. That's a job in itself. So it's
Yeah.
not like you're not doing anything. I know he is traveling a little bit more now, but it's still something that's not completely passive. You got to put time in, you got to put the work in, you got to make sure things are happening, or it's going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't think there's any such thing as passive income truly, and I mean, unless you have so many. We like to be owner operators, so for us, it never really was passive income. I mean, I've I at one point I had 100 and something doors. I think I'm down to like 70 because with the market I sold some and whatever. But it's never really passive because you're always thinking about things that are going wrong or did go wrong or what tenant's not paying or and nobody's going to be on that like you're on it. Even if you get somebody to manage it, they may wait a day or two to file the eviction because it's not their money really. Whereas you're like, whoa, this guy isn't, I'm getting on this the day I could file, I'm filing, or this toilet's broken, I'm fixing it today because that leak could wind up ruining the downstairs and then it's going to cost more money. A lot of times management companies, and they don't, I mean, they try and do their best, but when it's your own stuff and you're involved with you roll your sleeves up and you're in there with your own hands, there's nothing like that. Nobody's going to work as hard as you're going to work on your own business. Nobody's going to really.
Now, are you one that will work, and never take a vacation, or are you one that will take some time and shut the phone off and be on an island or go to Europe or what have you?
I mean, I do go on vacation. As I have a shore. I have a house down the shore. Most of my vacations have been in my shore house. I have a boat and stuff. Um, vacation. I do maybe one a year, and like last year, I went to Florida. And do I shut the phone off? I try to, but there's always like that one text that'll come through and you're like, I got to answer this because whether it's somebody who's upset or a tenant and you're like, oh man, like I can't just ignore this because now it ruins your vacation because you're thinking the whole time I got to deal with this when I get back. And so I try to tie up loose ends before I go away. And I recommend anybody who wants to go away, tie up any loose ends, make sure, you let the people that you need to let know that you're going away. And usually clients, and they respect that, and it won't bother you when you're on vacation. You get the occasional one who just doesn't want to wait.
Right.
But, that's just the nature of the beast, I guess. But yeah, I do take vacations. Like I'm going on a cruise. I leave June 23rd. I'll be on a boat, and hopefully we don't hit any rough seas. But yeah, so I'll do that, and then I'll take usually I don't want to. They're all family vacations, but I'll take a Disney trip once in a while. Which
Right.
Not really a vacation, as we all know. But
anytime the kids are involved, it's never a vacation. It's always, even going down the shore, it's like you're yelling at your kids in a different zip code. That's really what it is.
Yeah. But you need to listen. I make time. I even make time, and I think this is important for people to know. When you're in business and you're very busy and you're trying to be in business, don't neglect your other half, which I mean, your wife. You always got to make time, like a date night. I think that's very important because that's your support system, your wife. And I'm putting this out there because me and my wife have a good relationship like that. And without her, I don't even know if I'd be where I am and as successful as I am. And I definitely recommend people that are getting involved in business or who are already involved in business to do themselves a favor and make that time for that date night. Let your wife know that she means a lot to you, and tell her out to dinner. Like I appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that, I'm not around maybe as much as I should be, or pay attention as much as I should be. But tonight is about me and you, and I'm letting you know that. And that goes a long way, so that when times are really going crazy and you really can't pay attention to her at all, she'll remember that. And, it's something I highly recommend. And with your kids too, do the same thing with your kids. Yeah. Focus on kid time. You don't want your kids saying to you when they're 20 years old, Dad, you were never around, I don't really know you,
Those are excellent tips. Excellent tips. Let's end on this. And we talked about manifesting. I want to hear what are you going to put out into the world? What is going to happen to Frank in the next year, 5 years, 10 years? What do you think?
I mean, my major focus right now it's actually twofold. One is to expand the doors, because I think I was telling you, me and Mel purchased an 88 unit building out in Illinois, along with a few other people. It's a syndication deal, but we're like majority shareholders on that. And also the cannabis business that I'm getting involved in. I see myself, and what I vision, like when I close my eyes, I see myself having like these multiple streams of income, and like instead of making, say, a few $100,000 a year, I'm talking like millions, growing the cannabis business, growing the real estate business, and then getting to the point where I can actually pay somebody well enough to say, hey, listen, I need you to be me, and I'm going to pay you this much. And it truly would become passive income, right, where I know they're going to be paid so well that they're going to say, I got to take care of this because this guy is really paying me well. And that's when it truly becomes passive income. And those are my manifestations, being with my family 24/7 and having these two businesses just flourishing, nice cars. I'll keep the same house, but having a nice car, I'm not a big, like, I don't need a mansion, maybe I'd upgrade my house down the shore, but those are the things that I see, and eventually being able to start to unwind. I just turned 46 on May 25th. So
happy birthday, man. That's right.
So my goal is to try and, like, at the very max, I want to if I have to work till 55 and with my pension with the school, I'll do that. But I'm shooting for to retire at 50, defer my pension, and focus on my businesses and help them grow even more, and then pull my pension when I turn 55. That's my main goal. But I think it'll happen. But
Hey, you put it out there, and this is on YouTube. This will be out there for a number of years. I can't wait to see where it goes. I'm on the same path. I don't have that many. I don't have any doors. I need to. That's what I want to start investing in. I'm manifesting now, but the pension. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm going to be turning 47 in September, and I'm going to 55. Am I going to go 50 or 55? We'll see how that all plays out as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think, like, in my mind, I think I can make more money investing in myself than working for somebody. So once I have that 25 years in, and I know I can get my benefits and my pension, I think it kind of takes a weight off, and then I could just dive right into my businesses and even further and be like, sky's the limit then, because my full-time job then is just growing them.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's the beauty right there.
Yeah.
Man, this flew by. Frank, I appreciate you coming on. Everyone that's tuning in right now, shame on you showing up now. Wait until this uploads and get this from the beginning. Don't forget, those that are popping in, drop a comment or two, drop and hit the share button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit that bell. We do these conversations every week, either on Wednesday or Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Frank, I thank you so much for being with us. And for everyone else, we hope you have an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.